$1.2 trillion in 3 months. I need a cigarette just reading these Q1 numbers.
Oh, please. You take out Elon moving his own money around, and that total falls off a cliff.
A $250 billion cliff. SpaceX buying XAI is still a real transaction.
It is a corporate shell game, but fine. 12 mega deals over 10 billion is actually wild.
Exactly. Plus, we have Estee Lauder trying to marry Puig, and Uber suddenly wanting to be your personal chauffeur. The rundown. $1.2 trillion. I just need to say that out loud so I can feel something.
A 26% jump year over year, and 12 mega deals over 10 billion. The 5-year dry spell is officially over.
Sullivan and Cromwell just put out a note saying 4 of the 6 biggest global deals this quarter were AI.
Yeah, well, when SpaceX buys XAI for $250 billion, that kind of skews the math. It's basically an internal transfer of Elon's brain trust.
True. Let's hit the rundown. Uber is buying Blacklane.
Premium chauffeur services. I guess Uber Black wasn't premium enough?
They want that high-margin corporate travel money. It's a smart play to lock down the executive assistant booking market.
I completely disagree. Have you looked at Blacklane's operating model? It's incredibly capital intensive. Uber spent the last 5 years desperately trying to get asset light, and now they're buying a literal fleet of Mercedes and the drivers who wear little hats.
The little hats command a premium, Maya.
Until the next recession hits and corporate travel budgets get slashed.
We'll see. Meanwhile, Antin Infrastructure is taking Sapphire Gas Solutions off Apollo's hands.
Compressed natural gas. Classic private equity passed the parcel. Apollo held it, polished the EBITDA, and sold it to another fund.
The funny thing is, everyone talks about green energy, but the infrastructure funds are quietly eating up these traditional gas assets. The cash flows are just too sticky.
Exactly. Also in the quick hits, Lupin finished buying VISUfarma to expand their European eye care footprint, and Warner Music grabbed Revelator.
They really need to fix their rights management. Buying the tech outright makes sense.
I read the press release and it actually used the word bolster.
Drink every time a PR team uses bolster.
We'd be dead by noon. What are you hearing on the Whisper Network?
Estee Lauder and Puig are talking.
Wait, really?
Massive tie-up. Mostly stock. If that happens, the cosmetics industry gets completely rearranged.
Mostly stock? Puig just went public. Valuing that paper is going to be an absolute nightmare.
That's why bankers get paid the big bucks. Also, keep an eye on Gilead. They just extended the tender offer deadline for Arkelix again.
Oh, come on. You don't extend a tender offer repeatedly unless someone is dragging their feet on a regulatory sign-off, or somebody found a massive skeleton in the data room.
Exactly. We're watching that clock tick down tomorrow. But before we get to the regulatory headaches, we need to talk about Europe. Buyers over there are actually outperforming non-deal makers by 6 percentage points.
The European premium. Let me pull up the Q1 regional breakdown and show you why that's happening. The big one.
$1.2 trillion in a single quarter. I had to refresh the terminal 3 times this morning because I thought the data feed was broken.
It's not broken. A 26% jump year over year. We're officially back at 5-year highs for completed deals. But Nate, we have to talk about what's actually driving this. It's not a broad market recovery. It's AI eating the world.
12 mega deals over $10 billion. And Sullivan and Cromwell just put out a note saying 4 of the 6 biggest deals globally were AI related. The pent-up demand is real. Healthy balance sheets plus executives terrified of missing the AI boat equals an absolute feeding frenzy.
Sure, but let's look at the apex predator of this feeding frenzy. SpaceX buying XAI, $250 billion. Nate, this is Elon buying Elon.
Okay, yes, the governance optics are a little messy.
Messy? The footnotes on this thing look like a family tree from Game of Thrones. It's a masterclass in moving capital from your left pocket to your right pocket.
Look, I know my inner banker is showing right now, but there's actual strategic logic here. If you're going to put people on Mars or run a global satellite network like Starlink, you need massive dedicated compute. And XAI gets access to the ultimate testing ground. It's a long-term infrastructure play.
I completely disagree. I think it's a pure consolidation play. A shell game. SpaceX has the cash and the valuation. XAI needs infinite capital to train models, so you smash them together to bypass the public markets entirely. Show me the independent fairness opinion on a $250 billion price tag. I dare you.
You're not going to find one that doesn't have thumbprints all over it. But you can't deny the market loves the narrative.
The market loves a shiny object. I just hate when we pretend a massive internal reorganization is a true M&A transaction. It heavily skews the whole quarter's data.
Fair enough. But it's still setting the ceiling for every other AI valuation out there. If XAI is worth $250 billion, every AI startup with a pitch deck just added a zero to their Series A ask today.
Which is genuinely terrifying and completely unsustainable. By the way, do you know who is actually doing smart, disciplined deals right now? European buyers.
Oh, totally. Outperforming non-deal makers by 6 full percentage points in share price this quarter. They're quietly eating everyone's lunch while we stare at rockets.
Exactly. Real businesses buying real revenue. Which brings me to this massive cosmetics tie-up we keep hearing whispers about.
Estee Lauder and Puig.
Mostly stock-based, industry shaking, and perfectly timed. We need to look at the math on this one. Voices.
Sullivan and Cromwell just put out a memo saying AI is completely hijacking the market. 4 of the 6 largest global deals this quarter are pure play AI.
I read that. But calling SpaceX acquiring XAI for $250 billion a standard M&A transaction is a stretch. That's basically Elon moving money from his left pocket to his right pocket.
Hey, a $250 billion pocket is still a massive pocket. It counts. It pushed Q1 past 1.2 trillion total. We're up 26% year over year.
The volume is real, I'll give you that. 12 mega deals over 10 billion is a 5-year high. But I completely reject this narrative analysts are pushing about a quote-unquote favorable regulatory environment.
You don't think the regulatory clouds are parting?
Are you kidding? Have you looked at the FTC lately? Everyone is terrified they're just structuring deals differently. European buyers are outperforming non-deal makers by 6 percentage points right now because they're doing quieter, mid-market roll-ups. Not because regulators are handing out free passes.
Okay, fair. The antitrust guys are still out for blood, but you can't deny the balance sheets are flush. Look at the Estee Lauder and Puig rumors.
Oh, the massive stock-based tie-up?
Exactly. Cosmetics is usually a cash game, but a stock deal of that size means they're preserving their war chests. It's smart corporate theater.
I want to see the exchange ratio before I call it smart. Puig isn't going to sell cheap.
True. Speaking of not selling cheap, what is going on with Gilead extending their tender offer for our shell?
Right? That deadline just keeps moving. Whenever a pharma major extends a tender offer like that, somebody found something weird in the clinical data, or another bidder is quietly circling.
We need to watch that clock tick down tomorrow. I'm betting we see an amended filing before the market opens. Spill the tea. I am telling you, if Estee Lauder actually pulls off this Puig tie-up, it is going to be an absolute bloodbath for the indie beauty brands.
A primarily stock-based bloodbath, Nate. Look at the rumors. Estee Lauder's equity has not exactly been the currency you want to hold lately. Why would Puig want that paper?
Oh, come on. Puig brings the prestige fragrances, Estee brings the global distribution. It is a classic peanut butter and chocolate situation. Plus, European deal makers are absolutely feeling themselves right now.
I will give you the European momentum. The Q1 data shows European buyers outperforming non-deal companies by 6 full percentage points. They are definitely flexing. But I still hate a stock-heavy deal when your share price is volatile. It screams, we do not have the cash, but we have serious FOMO.
Spoken like a true cynic.
I prefer realist. Speaking of things that make me cynical, what is actually going on with Gilead?
The Arcalyx tender offer.
Exactly. They just extended the expiration date again. You do not keep pushing a tender offer window unless the backroom conversations are getting incredibly spicy.
Right, as a recovering banker, let me translate that for you. Someone with a massive block of shares is holding out for a sweetener, and Gilead is playing a high-stakes game of chicken. We will see who blinks first as that clock ticks down tomorrow.
Speaking of ticking clocks, we need to watch the regulatory filings on Uber buying Blacklane. Uber is apparently tired of us smelling stale fries in the backseat and wants to completely own the high-end chauffeur market.
Hey, I would pay a premium just to guarantee my driver does not ask me for directions. But as fun as the beauty gossip and fancy Ubers are, we need to talk about the massive $1.2 trillion elephant in the room.
The Q1 numbers are officially out, and the AI mega deals just broke the scale. Tomorrow's radar. Sorry,
I'm still waiting for the Uber and Blacklane regulatory filings to drop tomorrow. Chauffeur services? Really?
it makes perfect sense if you look at their premium margins. But the actual drama tomorrow is Gilead.
Extending the tender offer for Arcellx again?
Exactly. They're keeping everyone in the dark.
Oh, come on, it's just standard maneuvering.
No, it's not. Sullivan and Cromwell just noted that AI is eating all the advisory bandwidth right now. 4 of the 6 biggest deals this quarter were AI. Gilead is stalling because they found something in Diligence.
I totally disagree. Biotech is just slow. If you want real drama, look at the Estee Lauder and Puig Whispers, a massive all-stock cosmetics tie-up. The banker fees alone would pay for a lifetime of Blacklane rides.
Assuming the market actually buys an all-stock deal right now, I need to see the exchange ratio first.
You need to read the footnotes before you believe the sun is coming up.
And I'm usually right about the weather. Talk tomorrow.